This is what happens when you play with a cat on your lap while wearing a delicate summer top. Hi, I'm Agnès. Welcome to my eclectic channel. I make videos for fun. We've been working on an upcycling project. We're turning a cute summer top into a cute summer dress. Last time we cut the puff sleeves that would be added to the top, and now it's time to get started on the skirt. So for the skirt, I toyed with a number of ideas. I looked to my pattern library. I have a couple dresses under my belt, but I've decided that the most efficient use of the fabric and the safest and easiest thing to do would be to do a simple rectangular skirt. So this is one where you cut the skirt out of a rectangle and then you gather it at the waist and you've got a skirt. pretty simple. This is a short skirt, so I think it'll work. So I am going to even out this rectangle. I do have a selvage edge here that I can go off of, and yeah, I gotta even out both ends to make this into a perfect rectangle. I folded my fabric in four, so I folded it once and then again, aligning everything with the selvage edge. So I know for a fact that this is a straight line and everything else is folded underneath, following this nice straight line. And then I have a cutting mat. So I'm going to bring this to the edge of it. You could also use the edge of the table. But what's nice about the cutting mat is that I have, well, actually, I'm going to revise this. Get a cutting mat. When they have rulers on them, lines. And so what I like to do is I line this up with one of the lines, and I have lines that intersect perpendicularly. So what I can do then is to take my ruler and yeah, that'll work, and follow one of those lines and cut that off. It took some work, but I did it. And I'll do the same on the other side. So on the other side is where I cut the sleeve. The other side is where I cut the sleeve off. So it's very uneven. So I gotta see it's on the other side where the lowest part is happening. And I think this is our lowest point right there where I cut the sleeve. So I'll use that as my baseline. So now I have a rectangle, which is 55 centimeters long. That's going to be the length of the skirt, minus seam allowance at the waist and seam allowance at the bottom to hem the skirt. Find the side of your rectangle that will form the top of the skirt and overlock that edge. It should be a long side. This will be an exposed seam on the interior of the garment, and so you really do need to protect that from fraying. So I've laid out my the rectangle for my skirt. Full disclosure, you see here a bit of gathering. I really wanted to see kind of what that would look like, so I went ahead and did some finishing and gathering, but in this video I'll go in chronological order, so pretend that this did not happen yet. So you have your flat rectangle at that point, and we'll prep the edges. So this edge, I have my top here with the wrong side up. My fabric is also wrong side up, so it's matching. And I'm looking at this is my button band. So this is where I'll be sewing the buttons. So here I need to prepare a button band. And the side where you have the buttons is really easy to do. You just want to hem it. So I am going to do a double. So do a hem that's wide enough. You gotta think, oh, they're vertical. Okay, so then, well, I was thinking about my being wide enough to accommodate my buttonholes, but since they're vertical buttonholes, that takes very little width to accommodate. So all I need to worry about is my buttons. Something like this is gonna be more than enough, and it's 1.5 centimeters. So I will fold once by almost 1.5 centimeters, and then I will fold again. So I'm going to take this to my ironing board first to roll it twice, press flat, and then I'll come back and do the stitching. So here's where the buttons are going to go. On the other side, instead of making this band 1.5 centimeter wide, I'm going to make it 2 centimeter wide so that I have more room to put the buttonholes. I haven't decided yet on the length of the skirt, so I'm not going to be working buttonholes all the way down to the end. However, I do want to start from the top and work a few buttonholes, because once the skirt is fully gathered, it'll be really difficult. Well, it'll be harder to do that. It's nice to work with a flat piece of fabric for that process. So there's a bit of thinking to do here. This is the top, and the skirt is going to be attached here. So first of all, there's going to be a seam allowance, and on that end I probably want a good seam allowance, so we'll do a 1.5 centimeter. Put a pin in that right there. So the skirt will be exposed from where I put the pin on down. So now I have to decide where to start the first buttonhole. Well, I have my top here, and I also know where I will be attaching the buttonhole. If you look at, so here I had a bit of concern because this is thin cotton. I mean, this is what makes this top so great for the summertime. It's like it's not there. I've been loving it. It's got a lot of wear, probably a reason why the fabric gave out, but I'm not ready to let it go. I want to get a few more years out of it. So I was concerned with stitching anything to the bottom, really, and I was thinking, will it hold, especially since it's got this little lace going on here. But when I looked on the back side, I saw that the lace is actually a whole band, and it's canvas, or I'm not sure what to call it. It's really strong. So that part of it is a great place to put stitches. It will hold. And yeah, the lace part, it's super strong, so I'm not concerned about that ripping even if I hang a skirt off of that, and it's a light skirt. So enough with the engineering talk. So the reason I'm bringing this up now is because my where I put my pin, I'm going to line up that with where I intend on doing the stitching. So if I'll go now to the front, so lining up my pin to where I intend to put my line of stitching in the back. I have that now, and my skirt. So perhaps I'm going to put another pin here. All right, so this is what we get going. And now we start to see where the first button should go, right? But maybe on the back side a little better. So essentially the first button on the top it's just the center. I'll take the edge of the button. It's a centimeter away from this ladder, the little piece of lace here. So when I do on my skirt, I'm going to look at this ladder and I'm going to go a centimeter down, and that's where my first button is going to go. So I've marked that placement with this pin, and it's a little, and I knew it would do that, it's a little closer than the normal spacing of the buttons. But I do want that because this will be at the waist, and it'll be good to have two buttons a little more closely spaced together. But then moving on, I'm going to be using the spacing of the buttons on the top. I'm going to mirror that and work my way down the skirt. We'll continue the work on the button band next time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like.